Alright, good evening. Welcome to another of my late night streams. So, my first stream had a little hiccup. I started 15 minutes ago and then I had a complete computer crash. That was actually the hardest crash that I had for years. I really had to hard reboot my computer by turning it off. Let's just hope that this is not gonna happen again. So it happened right when I entered back into the game. So, yeah, sorry guys, a few of you might have been kicked out of the stream 15 minutes ago, but yeah, let's keep fingers crossed that it is working stable now. Yeah, we are still being chased by an escort. There is a convoy moving that way. Yeah, we successfully infiltrated the convoy and sank the big baby of the convoy. It's something like 17,000 tons mega tanker. And yeah, dived away. We fired 4 torpedoes and yeah, what was it? 3 of them did hit, but 2 of them already sank it. So the third hit was reassuring that I had a good hit ratio, but I wouldn't have needed the third one. But better safe than sorry. And the missing torpedo started meandering. It was an FAT torpedo, and he just by chance ran right into another ship. Only problem was that the draught of that ship was too shallow, so the torpedo just went underneath that ship. We watched it in the cinematic view. So what's our situation? We are at half oxygen. We still have plenty of battery. And yeah, the discipline is okay, I would say. Pretty okay. We are going with slow speed and we are down to almost 120 meters. And let's see, how much water do we have in the bilge? Quite a bit. Yeah, but uncritical. Just sooner or later it might get annoying. We already see the water at the floor coming up out of the bilge. Yeah, and we well hear that there is still someone going after us. Yeah, we have the gyro turned off. Yeah, let's turn off the electric support of the dive planes. We completely forgot that. Down here, we don't need pretty exact steering. So this is another sound source that you can turn off. We are on alarm, silent running enabled, the bulkheads are closed. Yeah, and all the off-watch crew shall please support the officers on their battle stations. We didn't fire a single stern torpedo yet. Yeah, nice. We finally managed to get 2 of the sound-seeking torpedoes. I love to have them in the stern torpedo tubes, to use them as kind of a fire and forget weapon when just in case a man of war might be up our tail and we can't take a clear aim on it. So here we are, 1 torpedo is reloaded, but I refrain from doing more reloading at the moment because we are on silent running and I want to avoid just any additional noise. That's the general situation. The local situation. So you see that this sinking was already accounted for. Yeah, let them. Yeah, we are on the far side of the Atlantic. We are in April, mid-April 42, so we are 2.5 years into the war. And we just have Aqua Icing in the chat. Good evening. Yes, welcome to your side of the world. It's a pleasure. Yeah. It's a pleasure. Yeah, so yesterday we had 2 Canadians in the chat, hadn't we? Well, stop. Your side of the world? However, yeah, we are on. Yeah, that's only our second travel all over the Atlantic. So our second mission that we, or yeah, patrol that we did in the scope of Operation Drumbeat. And yeah, we are doing quite all right. I am doing a complete walkthrough through the war, starting at the very beginning in September 39 in Wilhelmshaven with a small, tiny Type 2 submarine then. Yeah, we went through many missions and operations and scenarios, and finally we ended up being stationed in the port of La Rochelle and having a Type 7C, which is a fairly good, well-equipped, long-range, fairly high-speed submarine. And yeah, right now we we sank 1 tanker out of this convoy. It was quite a nice chase, so we actually detected them with a hydrophone check. Then, well, 1 hour by hour did more hydrophone checks, and so I was able to extrapolate their course, interpolate their speed, and intercept them nicely. So that was, I would say it was textbook-like. And it worked. And now we still have these guys on our tail. Thirsty for revenge. Yeah, Aqua Icing, my Thursday was quite alright. I actually just worked half a day and took the afternoon off and used it partly for doing some 2-hour streaming of DayZ. Don't know if you've seen it. I've done an afternoon, well, early afternoon stream for 1.5 hours, and I pretty much enjoyed to dive into DayZ once more. So, how was your Thursday? We are almost approaching weekend. Not quite the Friday. The Friday is between us and weekend. Okay, so you mean it became better when you could call it a day? Yeah. Yeah, actually, I had the comfort of doing home office. I had some work to do. Yeah, actually it was a project report that I had to read this morning. Took me quite a while. It's alright. But somehow, yeah. I might already have kind of boasted how much work I had to do the last weeks. And so I said this afternoon I could afford to do a bit of DayZ streaming. Still sounds like they are pretty close on our tail. Let's see if we get any reasonable reading from the hydrophone. Okay, there is one guy with high speed moving away, pretty close. Maybe we can get rid of that guy. However, allow me to step into the cinematic view briefly. Of course, the hardcore gamers, hardcore U-boatiers would call this cheating, and they are right. But so there it is. Just one left, is it? Yeah. And maybe I'm lucky and they're leaving me alone. Yeah, they're all stationary, which is a bit weird. They are all stationary. So it's kind of intriguing to go back and try to sink a few more of them. What is this guy doing? Is he going straight back? Nope. The guy didn't yet has given up the chase on me. He's turning around and still trying to locate me. So, guys, what do you think? What if I sneakily get back to periscope depth and try to sink that guy with a guided stern torpedo? Shall we give that a try? Let's first give it a save. W189. So Aqua Icing, I know that you are always in for some action like this. Am I right? So somebody would have to take care for the stern torpedoes and give it some maintenance. I also like this detail. For the stern torpedo you can only have one more sailor to support in maintenance because there is such a limited space back there. Yeah, let's see if we can get that guy. I hope the stream is working now because my first try It was pretty exactly 11 o'clock when I first started the stream, and yeah, my whole computer actually did crash by then. Ah shit, that was actually not what I wanted to do.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter. 20 Meter.
Yeah, I want to go back to electric with the dive plates, and I want to have our chief engineer giving some guidance to the guys at the depth steers.
Aktuelle Tiefe 20 Meter.
Yeah, getting in more and more water.
Tauchen auf 10 Meter. Meter.
High weight loss. You just see me doing some kind of a, yeah, not quite, but a bit a kamikaze thing. I want to try to sink that guy. Yeah, I'm a bit more early tonight, right? The last nights it was always only something like 10, 12 o'clock. So let's go for periscope depth. Yeah, nice to have you in. I was watching your stream from my mobile account, actually. So I am very astonished how good the graphics actually are. Okay, so I want to sink that guy. It's a destroyer. It has some velocity. I don't know whatever velocity it has. 10. Angle on bow, give it a guess. Like that at the moment. And the distance 1000. Well, at the moment it looks like they're not going that fast.
Geschwindigkeit 1,0 Knoten.
No, the only thing is I have to find out which one it is. This one. Could it be this one? Wow. This is a pretty bad angle. Draw. If I go to a draw of 3.5, I should be fine. Just too many of them. Could it be this one? I think, nah, not this one. Come on, how many destroyers are there? Yeah, let's go for 3.5. Let's go for a draw of 3.5. Angle on bow is almost 0. I'm pretty sure that they have spotted us. And come on, guys, ready the torpedo. Yeah, now it's coming in fast.
Vor 3.5 bewässern.
3.5.
Herr Kalon, feindliche Schiffe machen sich gefechtsbereit.
Wir wissen, wie es geht. Drehen wir den Spieß gegen diese Jäger.
Come on, give me the synchronization. Please. Give me the synchronization. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. They're just getting in too close by now.
Los! Schneller, schneller! E-Motoren besetzen. Schneller, schneller! Ja.
Wow, that was good. That was a severe hit.
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
It's still the bug convoy, yeah. That's right. It's still the bugged convoy. So I don't know if I should exploit that bug.
Keine Fahrt voraus.
If I should actually exploit that bug. I mean, might well be that it is no bug. Maybe they are just waiting there. I have to admit, I'm not quite sure if it was actually Black Swan. That was a wild guess. But if I look at it, might be. Do you think it's a Black Swan? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Yeah, it could be.
Hüllenbruch. Sie sinken.
Wow.
Das war ein brillanter Schuss. Weiter so.
Thank you very much.
Auf und immer bereit für den nächsten Angriff.
Thank you very much.
Korvette, 145 Grad.
Okay, a Corvette. 145 degrees. Maybe it's her.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Sims class. It says it was a Sims class. Does that make sense? Okay, it was this one. Okay, it had this relatively pronounced mast, second mast, which you don't see here on that picture. So that was a bit irritating, I would say. Ten.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Schneller, schneller. Ja.
So that might be the approaching corvette. Now I really have to keep an eye open on the horizon. Yeah, let's assume that this is not a bug, but that the convoy is actually assembling here for the trip over the Atlantic. Yeah, okay. This one there, yeah. Are they moving now? Now that we have smoke with them, does that mean that they have started moving? And this is pretty sure that this is the guy that's going after me. Maybe several guys going after me. Actually, this convoy was not so heavily guarded. Okay, see, now they are moving, aren't they? Or is it like, yeah, when I get close, the smoke vanishes? Interesting.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Schneller, schneller.
Yeah, now I want to reload a few of my boat torpedoes until I get there. So, guys, give me. So, who's gonna do it? Mr. Arles.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Okay, they can't both do it at the same time. Ah, this works, okay. So guys, now flank, get the torpedoes into the tubes. And while I'm here, I should turn on the pump actually. To get some water out. We never know what's gonna come. Almost 200 liters in the boat. Yeah, and later somebody's gonna have to load the stern torpedo as well. let's go for one of these guys. Keep in mind this one. Zero at the moment, and angle on bow, something like that. What's that noise? Is it the noise of the loading of the torpedo? And that's probably the escort coming in. Oh, that's the running pump. Pump is making the noise, but yeah, looks like, yeah, we got the water out. Very good. Air quality is pretty down, so wonder if I should turn on the snorkel, but no, let's not give away our position too easily. Torpedoes being loaded. Very good. So, Mr. Schneider. Now, please load the stern torpedo as well. So Mr. Arliss can care for the engine now. Hey guy, why aren't you doing that? Mr. Arliss. Maybe it's because there is not enough space. Why is he idling? Yeah, the weather has considerably improved. Half a day ago it was still pretty stormy, like 25 knots and rain and everything. But that's alright by now. So now we have to manage to get into torpedo range before that escort is upon us. I'm not quite sure if the escort already has targeted on us, if they have spotted us or not. Yeah, that's probably the escort over there. Let's just hope that they have no exact clue of our whereabouts. We are actually homing in on which one? One of these. Yeah, and they're all pretty or stationary at the moment. Oh yeah, I really yeah, that's great. I'm pretty jealous. Yeah, I actually don't have a Fleischwolf. You told me what Fleischwolf in English is, but I have to admit, I forgot it again. And this guy is coming upon us, probably. That's the other escort. At the moment, I have no eyes on any other escort. So, maintenance. Yeah, still one more to load. Mr. Schneider, please. So, give me a T1. Maintain and load. And that one is not maintained. Oh, best viewers, go away. I already have wonderful viewers. Mincer, yeah, okay. Okay, I thought you had. I thought you had and would do it by yourself. So, then you just get the sausage stuffing, the minced meat from the butcher, and then mix it to your flavor, or how do you do it? I want to keep the periscope down. So this is the one that we are going for, right?
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Gegnerlage 8, 3, Bug links. Geschwindigkeit 0 Knoten.
It's a coaster, right? Yeah.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
5 miles.
4,
Okay.
8, 5, 0 Meter. Gegnerlage 8, 3 links.
Okay, with the KitchenAid you do it. So you just need this ordinary minced meat, like roughly minced, and then you can finish it with the KitchenAid to make it this kind of smooth dough. Or do you already have this smooth minced meat? Yeah, okay, alright. Nice. Interesting. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I love all this stuff. Whatever you can do by yourself. Yeah, I pretty much love to have well, when it comes to food, I love to have as much of the supply chain and the production chain at home as possible. Yeah, just because I pretty much like cooking and, yeah, preparing food. Yeah, today we just had a rather simple supper. Just made some, yeah, Indian rice with cubed vegetable, small pieces of bell pepper, carrot, an onion, a bit of what is the name? I was pretty familiar with all these wordings. I'm a bit embarrassed by myself that I just can't figure out right now what was lauch, leech, right? Yeah. And yeah, an onion, clove of garlic, and some piece of ginger, and then spice it with cardamom and turmeric. Alik it was, yeah, thank you. Yeah, the ordinary Indian spices that you would have in a typical curry mixture. And cook it for 15 minutes. That was pretty nice. Also, this easy stuff can be good. Yeah, what else did I put in? Cloves and cumin and stuff, yep. Maybe we are lucky and that escort has not yet any clue of what I am doing here. There is the escort. They are listening. Yeah, they stopped their propeller and they are listening. So me going flank speed, it should be pretty obvious for them. Yeah, that sounds good. A nice steak is always a good choice. Yeah, well, my favorite actually is something like bullseye, or what's the French name of that one? Where you have this big piece of fat in the middle, which makes everything tender and juicy. Yeah, the ribeye. And yeah, there is this other French name when you buy it in Germany at the butcher. They usually sell it with that French name. Yeah, that's great. I love it. Yeah, but still, that stuff gets pretty expensive. So, what I also love is, I mean, it's not a steak then, but I really love these kind of pieces of meat which you, yeah, simmer over low heat for something like 3 or 4 hours. Oh yeah, entrecôte. That's the right name. Yep, that was what I meant. Yeah, this piece of beef from the breast of the animal, which is something, yeah, some people call it just meat for the soup, but yeah, it's beautiful if you simmer it over something like 3 or 4 hours. You get something which is so tender. Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite like fillet actually. If I ate steak, if I do steak, I usually don't do fillet. One point is the price, and the other is that, like for example, for entrecôte or ribeye, you have more. Well, I think you need a little bit of fat in the meat, and the fillet is just too slim. No fat in it. So my favorite is, well, if you do it short, like a real steak, my favorite is entrecôte, or well, maybe how do you call it? Roast beef. Yeah, I know the Americans have some other names for that. I never keep that in mind. But yeah, so if you do not kind of fry it quickly, you can do wonderful things with simmering pieces of meat over hours, and then they really develop a wonderful taste. Gordon Ramsay, a beef Wellington. That's the one with the coating of some dough, isn't it? Oh yeah, sounds good. Yeah, is it that one with the dough coating? Now let's see. We should be close in by now. There we are. One torpedo hit should be sufficient, right? Let's check the distance.
Aktualisieren. Entfernung 1660 Meter.
Yeah, that's the coaster, and its draught is, so let's put it to 4.
Rohr 1 bewässern.
And now, Mr. Drummer, please add the torpedo calculator. Ah, come on, I don't want to do it manually. I want to have Mr. Drummer do it, please. So what would we do?
Aktualisieren. Gegnerlage 9-5 links.
Come on, guy.
Los. Rohr 2 bewässern. Los.
So what about that guy? Coaster velocity also 0. Angle on bow, something like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just the same ship, also a coaster. Bit further away.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 7 Meter. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag. Winkel 4, 6, Bug links. Torpedoversager.
Oh shit.
40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag.
Please let it not be a dot. Ah, yeah, it's sinking. That's good. So let's give another 2 torpedoes to this guy there. Why was it a dot? Ah, yeah, okay, that was not maintained. I forgot that. I forgot to maintain that torpedo tube number 1. And it was a dot, so that's what it is.
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff. Hüllenbruch, sie sinken.
Very good.
Als äußerst bedrohlichen Gegner, Herr Kaloy. Machen Sie weiter so. Ausgezeichnete Arbeit.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
Great.
Entfernung zum Ziel 1,
Again,
7
4.
Meter.
Let's go for
Rohr
4.
3 bewässern.
Rohr 3 bewässert.
Los. Rohr 4 bewässern.
Rohr 4 bewässert.
Los.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy? Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Ja.
Okay. They're pretty close by. But
Der Torpedo ist auf halbem Weg. Der Torpedo ist auf halbem Weg.
that one looks alright. Doesn't it? serious damage.
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
Okay, that guy is going after us at the moment. Looks pretty much like he does have a clue now where we are. Or which one is it? Nah, that's just another merchant. And this guy is far off. So we should be able to get another one of these guys. We are really wreaking havoc amongst them now.
Sie gehen unter. Ja.
There is one more guy there. Another coaster, yeah, I recognize it. Velocity also 0. Something like that, or maybe a little bit more forward, like that. But doesn't really matter, does it?
Aktualisieren.
2,000 meters, so
1 Meter.
more than 1 mile. I'm gonna send him another 2 greeting postcards. There they go.
Rohr 2 geladen. Herr Kapitän?
So tube 1 and 2 is loaded and well maintained. Which one is the first one is the electric, the second is let's first fire the electric and then the steam powered, which can go a bit faster actually. Alright, we are half through that mission already. Yeah, they are pretty small, these coastal ships. But yeah, it's all them.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 1, 6, 5, 8 Meter. bewässern.
Again, 4 meters of drought.
Rohr 1 bewässert.
Los! Rohr 2 bewässern.
Rohr 2 bewässert.
Los!
Go for it.
Ja,
So this first one is gonna be overtaken again by the second guy who is going faster. Yeah, looks alright, looks alright. By the way, I'm so deep in the actions, so sorry guys. There. I've been quite a lot of people joining the stream. I mean, at least for me, being just a small streamer. So great to have you. And yeah, don't hesitate. I'm always happy to get some feedback in the chat. What experience you have with the game. You know, just an old hand or new at the game. So don't hesitate to put any comment in, but on the other hand, don't feel pushed. It's just perfectly fine if you just watch. So that's the next one we did.
die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
That's the next one.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
So what do we have there? I thought there might... Okay, that's a decent target. That's a tanker. Let's see if we can sink that tanker finally. We have 2 more torpedoes in the tubes. Let's give it a save. Yeah, with these 2 torpedoes we should be able to sink that guy if we have some clean hits.
Kurs setzen.
Velocity is also 0. Don't know why they are starting. Well, I mean, in real life, you just couldn't start such a ship. You would have to first kind of start the fires under the steam engines. And then it would take a while until you get the pressure that you need. And angle on bow is pretty much like 90 degrees, I would say. Question is, which tanker do we actually have here? No, not that one. It's this one, isn't it? Yeah. It's definitely this one. Hey, this is also a fat baby. Hey, come on, don't. Yeah, I was trying to make a story out of it for me, but I'm sure you are right there, Buck. But let me in this belief that it might be real. Yeah, sure. Sure, they're bugged. I just wanted to make a storyline out of it. Okay, let's go faster. It's good practice, yeah. Yeah, that's right, of course. The range finding is completely unnecessary when they're not moving. But I just do it for training, yep. Yeah, but right, for other people in the stream, maybe there are a few guys who are not that experienced in the game. It might be kind of irritating or misleading. When the ships are not moving, you really don't need the distance. You just fire, and that's it. You also don't need the angle on bow. You just have to make sure that you put the velocity here to 0. Now I think the distance is still pretty far away. Not too much. By the way, let's just see what we have. Other ships around. Could it be that there is only one escort left? Which is there. Still looks like they have almost no clue where I am. Yeah, okay. I never figured that out. Yep, right. Let me check that. Good point. Good point. I never heeded these reports that you get up to now, but that makes perfect sense. Yep. So it says 2.6 kilometers, which is roughly 1.5 miles. Very roughly.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Gegnerlage 8 links.
Yeah, let's still get a bit closer. Yeah, 2 more torpedoes. Hey, Super5, thank you very much for the feedback. Yeah, okay, interesting. When I did the Open Isle mission, it was alright. Yeah, well, I mean, it's good if you could do the mission. Would be a pity if you do all the travel up there and then a bug prevents you from finishing. But yeah, in terms of immersion, it's of course pretty shitty like that. Well, nevertheless, I don't think, I mean, I don't want to arise a kind of wrong picture. I think the game is pretty unbuggy in total. This is actually the first time that I ran into such a convoy, which is not moving at all. There are bugs, but pretty few, I would say. If you imagine that it's just such a small development crew from a small studio, I think they do quite a good job. So I wouldn't like start bashing on them. And you don't, you just mention it, that's perfectly fine, and find it quite interesting to hear that you had that problem on the Open Island mission. So what year are you in the game? Something like 40 or 41? Yeah, the deck gun and the warning shots, yep.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
Give me a sec. I really would love to sink that guy. Fingers crossed that we are gonna be able to do it. Now distance. Alright, so this is something like 700. What it is? Well, 0.7 miles, let's put it like that. And the draught of that ship is 7.1, so let's put it to 7.5.
Vor 3 bewässern.
And
Vor 3 bewässert.
yeah, let's give it a go.
Vor 4 bewässern.
7.5, is this correct? Yeah, makes sense. So give it a stern hit as well, somewhere there.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel 1, 2, 7, 9
Magnetic.
Meter. Sie gehen unter. Einer weniger. Los.
All right. Are there more torpedoes? Too late. I think that was the last 2 torpedoes before.
Ja. 40 Sekunden bis Torpedoeinschlag.
Yeah, the other one should be faster. What is it? 1 hit. And the second one. That was perfect timing. Both of the torpedoes just hit at the same time. Oh, come on, look at that. Look at that. Everything go in a flame.
Kurs setzen. Kurs setzen.
2 hits. And it pretty much looks like that escort has no idea where I am. Maybe I can get away from that. Oh. Hey Super5, are you still in the chat? I would be pretty curious how long you are playing the game already. So, I mean, I started to play the... okay. North Africa mission, yeah, okay, alright. $41, okay, oh yeah, yeah. I never did the North African missions up to now. I wonder what would happen if I get to the surface and try to get away like hell. So the sinking ship there should shadow me pretty well from detection. And I think that this guy there is probably the escort chasing me. Only one last escort, a corvette. An improvised man of war going after me. Look at that. What a smoke cloud. Yeah, I can't afford to pick up any sailors. Yeah, I think I did play the game the first time something like 5 years ago when it came out. It was pretty much just when it came out. But at that time it was still pretty basic. And yeah, I got that gut feeling that this could be a good one. But yeah, then I left it. I abandoned it for something like 2 years, 2.5 years, and only then, something like 1.5 years ago, I rediscovered the game and I saw that the developers were really working on it and made a grown game out of it. And by now I would say this is the best submarine simulation we ever had. Yeah, okay, alright, so it was similar. And yeah, the upcoming, we are very eager about the upcoming DLC. Ask Weight Loss. Hey Weight Loss, so this is your signal. The upcoming DLC. Yeah, we are all so eager. What's that? What was that sound? Somebody shooting at us. Okay, they are sinking. Where is the DLC? Yeah, and when will it be available for us for the Type 9? Where is the Type 9? Yep. So guys, what do you think? Maybe I should put up the snorkel to get a bit of fresh air. I'm really worried about the air quality down here. Or what would it be like? Let's save the game. Let's just get to the surface. Let's get to the surface, and yeah, we are going flank. We are on battle stations. So now we could radio the stuff to the headquarters. Yes, we are. Now send the report. And now we are getting in. Let's turn on ventilation. Let's turn on the ventilation without filters. Let's see if we can get away. Just want to get in as much air as possible. And I think if I do have the ventilation on, yeah, that gives us loads of additional. So having the ventilation on, we should now quickly get stuff in. This guy might start firing on us. They do have guns. So if you look at them, these coastals, I'm lucky the coastals haven't. So maybe I'm gonna get away with it. I thought the coastals had guns, but they haven't. So where do we have the man of war? Where do we have the man of war? That's him. Hey, yeah, Super 5, I'm 100% with you. This kind of, about the crew management, when you actually do the management of the shifts, of the watches and everything, that's pretty awkward. So that is always a bit of a pain in the ass if you have casualties among your crew. It's pretty hard to figure out. Yeah, to get them out of the watch roster and everything. that's it. Same for me. Yeah, looks like we are getting away. But this one, that guy is moving fast. He's probably moving faster than us. Don't know if he's firing. Yeah, that's right. You could do more there. There is quite some potential to do more about the crew management, to do more about, it would be more like a role-play game. And I would pretty much love it if we would get more of that. This one here, that was a good move. This specialization. That was a step into the right direction. And still, I mean, what they do here is better than just anything that any development team did before about U-boat simulation. So we are complaining on high level, I would say. Now air quality is at 100%. I think I can turn off. Ventilation, it's disabled, alright. Yep. Yeah, about the crew management, that would be quite nice. So like, for example, this one here. So by what you say, we see that you are quite deep into the game already. So particularly this one here about the squads. So it would be nice if you could see in the crew list who is in which squad. That's actually the first thing that I would suggest. Please introduce a column here which indicates who is in which squad, and it would be more easy to kind of manage these. Yeah, the problem is that this man of war, although it's only a corvette, it's probably moving much faster than us. We can just hope that we get away. And he's gonna stick to the convoy and not following us. There he goes, going after us. Okay, right. Just, yeah, I am streaming in parallel. I'm doing a little bit of streaming into YouTube and got some feedback there, which sounds like that they obviously couldn't hear me well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Yeah, of course, I'm streaming that small screen. That's annoying. I understand that. And I well understand if you're pissed off by that. But if you want to have the big screen thingy, you would have to just join me on Twitch. But what about... If I read your comment, Martin, it sounds like you do have problems understanding me. Or are you just making jokes about that you find boring what I say? I can almost hear what you say. Yeah, that would be funny if I get my voice perfectly fine transmitted to Twitch and you couldn't hear it, or at least not well hear it, on YouTube. That would be weird. Yeah, my dear Twitch guys, I just saw that I got some comments on YouTube. But yeah, I don't know. So if any one of you guys on YouTube is still active in the stream, it would be pretty nice if you would give me some feedback on the voice level, because that comment of Martin A sounds like that I am not well understandable on YouTube, which is weird because on Twitch I think I am perfectly fine in terms of the sound volume. Yeah, but maybe this guy Martin A, maybe he's just a kind of very funny guy making jokes. Yeah, but I just saw the number of people watching going up by 1, so hey, you guys on YouTube, I would be always thankful on any feedback. Is my sound level of voice sound level alright? Or is it too low? Yeah, and please don't complain about the size of the screen. That's what I can do. I'm just an amateur streamer and my main stream is on Twitch. And I'm just doing this in parallel. I think I would have to pay a little money if I would have the possibility to do some grown-up stream on YouTube just in parallel. So please excuse me that you just get that small screen thingy. Nevertheless, if you want to have the large screen thingy, please join our Twitch channel. Yeah, hey, weight loss. Yeah, it should be like that, yeah. Hey, yeah, okay, alright, nice. Thanks for the feedback, weight loss. Yes, about the keyboard, Super 5, yeah. That's my problem. I always try to find some keyboard which is a little bit lower in noise, but I just can't get anything. And yeah, I still have this mic which is standing on my desktop. I try to kind of decouple it a bit with foam, but it doesn't really work. And yes, weight loss. I think that guy was just a troll, yeah. Yeah, I think that was what you guys already said a few days ago, that the quality of the conversation that you have is much better on Twitch than on YouTube. Yeah, nevertheless, sorry guys, I don't want to piss you off on YouTube, so show me that you can do better. Yeah, maybe the same for me. And I also don't get any software filters. I just can't make my mic do this filtering. It just doesn't work. There are some features in the software that I got with the mic. It's a Logitech mic that I have. But yeah. Just don't manage to filter out the keyboard hitting. So I try to tell myself that this is kind of, yeah, authentic. Let's call it authentic. That's the guy. Hey, he's not moving anymore, is he? Looks like he gave up. Alright, that's good. Maybe we are fine like that. Yeah, I never did dig that deep into my streaming software, to be honest. I just briefly tried. Up to now, I didn't find any kind of preferences about that. Alright, so see, we are almost up to 50,000 tons, which is the next milestone that we have. So I would say up to now that was quite some successful mission. And I think that's a good point to turn back home. So don't worry, I think I'm gonna carry on with that stream for at least 1 hour. So it's only it's only 1 o'clock by now. So I'm definitely gonna continue this one until 2 o'clock, maybe until 3 o'clock. So yeah, plenty of time for the journey back home. Yeah, hey, thank you very much. Yeah. I actually have been experimenting a lot with the settings of my mic, but yeah, I never found anything, and so no, I just say, hey, come on, fuck it. I'm an amateur streamer. I do this just for fun, and so you have to live with the sound of my keyboard. Although, well, still, it kind of bothers me, I have to admit. It kind of bothers me. And I wish I would find some kind of keyboard which is affordable and wouldn't emit all these noises. Yeah, or, well, the other solution would be to have one of these kind of free-flying mics, which you just put right into your face with some weird kind of mounting to completely decouple it from your desk. And then they would have just some very small detection cone directed towards your mouth, and it wouldn't detect the sound from the keyboard. That's what you could always do, but on the one hand, I would refrain from putting so much money into it, and on the other hand, I would feel a bit ridiculous having this kind of mic in my face. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Super 5, yeah. It's just kind of, what I have here in the streaming software. I can do the horizontal streaming on one channel and do a vertical streaming on the other channel. And as long as I don't pay any money, it's only these options. And so I do the horizontal streaming on Twitch and the vertical streaming on YouTube. And so my stream is kind of compressed into this vertical frame. Alright guys, sorry, I just have to be AFK for 1 minute. Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks, Weight Loss, for that feedback. Yeah, the software that I actually use is... what's the name of it? Streamlabs Desktop, that's it. And I use the free version, and the free version actually has its limits. But I think it's alright. But now I really have to be AFK just for 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Alright guys, thanks for your patience. Time for the snack. Yeah, I was actually, while I was peeing, sorry for the frank wording, I was actually thinking about getting up and get me some snack, but I decided not to do that. Not to bother you with me snacking. But it's still early. Yeah, I started pretty early. For me, starting something like 20 past 11 is pretty early, and it's only 1 o'clock. And yeah, we could continue streaming for another 1 or 2 hours. Staying strong, yep. Yeah, let me stay strong. Please confirm me in that. It's still not moving. So I think I am about getting away. Nice. I am about getting away. Without any beating. So guys, stop the alarm. Open the bulkheads. Turn on the gyro. And here we are. Yeah, and stop direct orders. So let's see where we end up when we stop direct orders.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's a good hint. Gonna check that. Thanks very much. So, I'm not gonna do it tonight, but I'm definitely gonna check that tomorrow. That's a very good hint. Thank you. Would be great if I could go to YouTube in another kind of format. Hey, great. So, yeah, I mean, I'm always having a bit of a bad conscience how old I am among all the other young streamers, but yeah, I'm always happy to have a few other guys in who are also not just something like, yeah, I love to have young people in the stream. Please don't misunderstand me, but I'm pretty happy also to see that there are other guys out here who are of my age or maybe even older. Yeah, thanks, Super5. I'm going to check that. Yeah, because I'm a bit pissed off by having that bad streaming quality just on YouTube. And I think people watching it are pretty pissed off just as well. Yeah. Yeah, I did a first try to get rid of it and I didn't succeed, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, you encouraged me to put some more time into trying to get rid of that format. Wonderful. Hey, Super 5, that's so lovely. That's why I do streaming. For, yeah, having these conversations with guys. Well, you don't have to tell, but I would be curious where you're coming from. For me, I'm from Germany. I'm from the Frankfurt area. And weight loss, I think it's alright if I tell it, right? You're from northern Germany. And then there are other guys in the stream from Canada or the US. And so I would be pretty curious where you are from. But don't feel pushed. I pretty well understand if people want to stay anonymous. So let me just state that. Ah, you're from Norway. Yeah, nice. So that's pretty flattering if you say that, because I know that Norwegian people usually speak English pretty good. Pretty well. Yeah, you hear my German accent, and I'm fine with that. Of course, I would love to speak English in a way that nobody would recognize that I'm a German, but yeah, that's just how it is. And these accents, that's just some personal thing. And it's alright, I think. Yeah, the first time when I started, well, at school, my English was pretty poor. And, well, then later I spent a year in Scotland. So that was my first step to dig into the language. And then at my first job, I had a lot of people from all over the world. So we started to talk English, and we went to the pub together and talked English there. And, well, then at my job for something like 10 years, I had Dutch customers. So, well, the Dutch people, they speak English really well. They have an amazing vocabulary, and I learned a lot. Only point is that their accent is pretty close to my German accent. So it didn't help much about to diminish my German accent, actually. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So luckily I had some opportunity to really kind of speak. And, well, this one here, I love the English language, and I've been reading a lot of, well, I think something like the last 15 years I mainly have been reading books in English, and that helped a bit. But what you say is right. You really have to do the speaking, and the streaming helps. Oblivion, hey. Yeah, sorry, Oblivion. Yeah. So I always want to emphasize that it's not personal. I just try to dive into this historic scenario. But Oblivion, let me mention that, of course, I am so happy that you allies won the war and rid us of that madman. So please, anybody watching, don't understand this to be me changing history, because I'm pretty glad, I'm pretty happy with history. It's just the fascination of U-boat warfare. And so sorry, guys, right now I have to do that on the Canadian coast. They sound like Vikings. Okay, amazing. Yeah, at least in one point we are in phase. Just for me, I love the Dutch people. They are great. Although, yeah, they were my customers and they were pretty pushy all the time. It was always fair and good, very good relationship. Less crawling and running, yep. Yeah. Now and then, and in the past, I've been doing a lot of DayZ streaming, and there is one DayZ streamer from the Netherlands. Let me check if I find out his name. And he's pretty alright. M1DR. Yeah, I don't know his real name. M1DR, that's the guy. Weird name. Madame Diabolo. Okay, alright. By the way, I didn't do any analytics up to now. Yeah, nice. Plenty of people in the stream. That's just great. Wonderful. Erste Mal das smakelige Coffee drunken. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, coffee, that's it. I mean, so if there are any Dutch people in the stream, all my experience with Dutch people were so wonderful, so I love you guys. But yeah, you have this kind of coffee thing, right? So Dutch people, they always drink coffee. And if you, like me, if you now and then prefer tea above coffee, they really regard you as a weirdo. Ah, have you? Okay, where have you been? At what racing course? Do you remember? Hey, we are actually getting away on the surface. Yeah, okay. The guys are bugged. They're not moving. Ah, the Nürburgring. Nice. Yep. Was it? Was it this one? That one?
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
I think we are alright in terms of food. Hey, great, we are back to 90%, 100% in terms of discipline. Battery is recharging. Let's go to. Come on, let's stick to flank speed. We want to get away, but we have good air quality, high discipline. Battery capacity is alright, and well, 88% of fuel, which should be plenty of stuff to get us back home. Hey, do you remember the Type 2 submarine, where you have the officers' quarters just in the engine room here, being separated from the engines just by a curtain? That's tough. Long-haired heavy metal rocker with boots, yeah, instead of that guy with the bowler and suits, yeah. Hockenheim, yeah, okay. Yes, weight loss. Type 2 must have been hell on earth, yeah. Hey, by the way, let me just mention that our this year holidays we spent in Ireland, but last year's holidays we spent on hiking in Sweden. And from Sweden I had a phone call with an old school friend of mine who is by now living in Oslo, and he invited us. So from Sweden we spontaneously went to Norway. And after something like 20 or more years, that was my first visit back to Oslo. And I love that town. I really love the town of Oslo. It was such a great feeling. I've been there when I was something like 23 or maybe younger. And now after many, many years, after several decades, I have to say, I went back there with my family. And yeah, that town was so lovely. I love Oslo. It's great. And yeah, then meeting that school friend there at his home, that was pretty amazing. No, well, yeah, yes. Back right after school. And yeah, after school I had to do my military service back then in Germany. And after the military service I did Interrail with a school friend. And one of the last stations of Interrail was Warsaw. And so I actually visited Poland, yeah. It was just a pretty brief visit, but I did. I have been there. I just have to admit that I didn't like Warsaw quite a lot. It was pretty run down back then. And yeah, back then we had that kind of gut feeling that on every corner you had these kind of Nazi shops where you could buy SS uniform parts and books like Mein Kampf and everything. That was when we were back there. I think it was 92 or 93. 93. So at that time, this visit we had there, that was not so positive, but I'm pretty sure that by now the country has kind of changed. And yeah, playing online, I met quite a lot of nice people from Poland, actually. I had been playing some Arma Reforger a year ago, and I remember that I had wonderful team-ups with a crew of people coming from Poland, and they were really nice guys. Yeah, outlaw stuff and you generate demand. Yeah, that's right. Hey, did they? And that's amazing. Yeah, in the year of 92, I have been a German soldier by myself, but I've just been visiting the Netherlands and been guarding a German airport close to Cologne. Are they? Don't know when they sleep, yeah. The local strip club, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Hey, yes. Hey, guys, I mean, there is so much political correctness nowadays. And thinking back in the days, just doing some pub crawl with a few friends, good friends, and just get totally drunk. That was something good to do, and well, quite some time ago that, well, to be honest, I mean it. I'm working in Frankfurt, and two school friends of mine are working in Frankfurt as well. And last year we had some kind of, this meeting. So we met in a nice traditional pub in Frankfurt, had a few Äppler, and then we had a few weird other kind of drinks. That was really the worst thing in the last kind of 5 years that I had. So we were just so wonderfully drunk. That was a great evening. It was just so bad that it took me more than an hour in the train and the tram to get back home. Yeah, okay, you also had been joining the forces. Yeah, that's something. I mean, if you imagine minus 40 degrees. Yeah, that's something that I never am sure about. Like, in this game, it's really nice if you get down to something like 150 meters under the surface. Then you see this sweat on the face of all the crew, and I always wonder if it is just a sweat of fear, or if it is really that hot down there. And well, I think it should be pretty cold in a submarine when you go something like 130 meters under the sea level. It must be very cold down there. On the other hand, you have the whole ship crammed with something like 40 or 50 people, and all of them kind of heating up the atmosphere. So, not quite sure what it would have been like. Would it have been like terribly cold or terribly hot down there? Yeah, guys, somebody please turn on the pump. Yeah, well, you say nowhere to go for the heat, but the seawater all around would be just something like 8 degrees. So the heat could go just out there. But still, I think probably it was pretty hot down there. And do you remember the movie If Franson Farts? Just a quote. It is, yeah. So all the heat from the inside should be easily be conducted out to the cold water. Yeah, nice. It looks like we're getting away. Looks like we are getting away from them without taking any hits from the deck guns.
Zielposition erreicht.
Yeah, we could still get back. We could still get back to the milk cow. Yes, yeah, that's right. When you've been sailing in these waters, it must have been hell in there, in such a submarine, when you're submerged. So now the question is, shall we go back to home port? Yeah, come on, let's try. If we could just refill our stores with the milk cow, then we are gonna get back and continue our mission here, sinking more ships. But I think I did read somewhere that usually you could just get something like 2 torpedoes from the milk cow. Yeah, so let's check that. Yeah, in the monsoon it must have been quite some relief to get down. But in the North Atlantic, I think it must have been pretty cold down there. Okay, guys, gonna get some little snack. So sorry in advance. I'm gonna molest you a bit with my snacking sounds, but I just need something. Be back in a minute. Don't go away. I'm still pretty curious if we could get more torpedoes at the milk cow and whether it would be worthwhile to stay around here or if we would better get back home. Be back in a minute. Yes, a comment, yeah. Alright guys, back again. So thanks for your patience. And yeah, the number of watchers has really been going up. So you guys, welcome. Don't hesitate to participate in the chat. Although it might seem to be quite private. Yeah, you're welcome. On the other hand, if you just want to watch silently, that's perfectly fine. So don't let yourself being pushed into anything. Right now, we are just about going back to that quadrant and see if the milk cow is still available to resupply us. Yeah, Super 5, you're right. So, this game is already great, and there is a lot of potential for the developers to make it even greater, yeah.
Voraus.
In April, it's 10:30 and it's still daylight. And there you see that we are having winter time around here. Yep. Yeah, that's right. That's what I would guess. Yeah, and I do think that the developers of this game, they are doing quite some decent money, I think. It's not a top seller, but I think there are many people who love that game and buy it. I mean, look at the graphics. I love that one. The sun reflecting on the hull and the bows cutting through the waves, throwing up the spray, glittering in the sun. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Yep. Or in Portugal, wasn't it like in the movie?
Endlich ein paar Stunden Pause.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Stop direct orders. Yeah, the port of it was Spain. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was wrong with that. Vigo is Spain. Yep. Yeah, Star Citizen. I'm still hoping that Star Citizen has given us what I am expecting, but, well, I've also been supporting it, and I've been playing it a few years ago. Yeah, when did I last try it? More than a year ago, and it was nice, but with all the money that they collected, they could have done something better, I think. Sorry. I have to be AFK for one more minute. Okay, back again. And yeah, hey guys. That's just great for a small streamer like me. It's perfect. It's fine if I have something like 10 or 12 people watching. That's great. So thanks for being in. And if you like what you see, don't hesitate to join the chat. Or, yeah, maybe even give me some follow. But yeah, you don't need to. If you just like to watch silently, it's fine. But yeah, a little follow always gives me some additional kind of positive confirmation. Okay, yeah, that's interesting to hear that from somebody who's kind of into the business. So you would say it's all right, yeah? And yeah, I think what you get at the moment at Star Citizen, it's not bad. I would just say it's still not this kind of complete open world thingy that I would have expected. Yeah, there are other games which do much worse with big development companies as backup. Like, what was it? Here's Starfield. That was a game I was really expecting Starfield eagerly, and then I was so disappointed. But yeah, okay. I don't want to bash Starfield too much. There has been a lot of people bashing Starfield, and well, I personally think they're right. Hey, beatbox, yeah. Yeah, sorry for the munching noise. Just to have a little bit of a late night snack. But yeah. Thanks for the comment. How are you doing, beatbox? Hope you had a good week. We are almost through. How are you doing? Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, that's really a point, Super 5. Like, the expectation of people is just too high. If you have a early access, it is early access, and it is not gonna be perfect. But people kind of expect that, yeah. Oh, well, sorry to hear that. So your GPU actually broke. I had that a few years ago, something like 3 or 4 years ago. I had that same thing, that my GPU actually evaporated. Yeah, it did cost me a bit of money. For a new PC, actually. Yeah, okay. Yep. So you have your backup. Yep. I had it once, and I'm pretty sure that it was a heat issue that finally destroyed my GPU, CPU. Yep, yep. So back then, when my computer broke, it was just when Bannerlord was released. I don't know if that rings a bell with you. I never streamed that game, but in the background without streaming, this is really my favorite game. One of the games that has the most hours on Steam. It's Bannerlord, and back then Bannerlord it did use quite some resources. And my suspicion still is that this game actually killed sorry that this game actually killed my my computer. But I don't know. Got a new one afterwards, and since then the game is running perfectly stable. Anybody of you guys know Bannerlord? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think that was kind of buggy, and yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if it was really the cause, if it was really the fault of that game. But actually, I had that breakdown while playing the game, and it was actually, yeah, quite challenging for the processors. Yeah, that's right. You would expect that you have these kind of fail-safes. Should be like that, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good question. I mean, the pros and cons of this game. The cons is... Let me start with the cons. You need some patience. It's pretty immersive, which is a pro. But on the other hand, to the cons, yeah, you have to have that patience. So, it might be that you travel the sea for days and days and just don't run into any enemy because it's kind of a real dynamic environment, which is a pro. But this dynamic environment actually makes the game like, yeah, you have to have a bit of patience. It's not an arcade game. It's not a quick action game. But if you settle with that, it's wonderful immersion. So you never run into kind of standardized, prepared scenarios, but it's always like There are convoys passing over the map, and you just have to find them, or you don't find them, and then situations arise. And, well, one big pro of the game is that you really have the crew. I mean, it's not like that you have some kind of robot pushing buttons and then the boat is doing what you want to do, but whenever you give an order, it's like there is crew which you need to carry it out. So when you give an order, you see guys running around, and that's why it takes time to kind of operate that handle, that valve, and to do this and that. And that takes time, and that's so much like... I remember that in the stream somebody said that U-boat is like The Sims in a submarine, and I pretty much like that comment. Yep. Yeah, you can actually turn on and off a lot of features. So you can make it, I wouldn't say you can make it an arcade game, but you could bring it pretty close to make it simple for a start. Yep, weight loss is perfectly right. Yeah, the crew management is a bit tricky, so you really have to invest a bit of time. You have to invest something like an hour to watch at streams, at YouTube videos, to really figure out how the crew management works. That's something you really have to put in the beginning. But it's well rewarded, because I would say it's a perfect loadout between... Yeah, if you are the captain, you don't want to do all the micromanagement. And that actually works, and it feels right. The crew is doing things automatically, which they are supposed to do automatically. And you, as a captain, only have to interfere in the important kind of moments. And that's wonderful. That's really, I think, the first simulation where you really feel this interaction of people and machinery. And that's what I love so much about that game. This interaction, people and machinery. The machinery is the one thing, but it's not working like a computer, but you have to operate the people, make people do things, switch things on and off. And that's what you have wonderfully implemented in the game. Yeah, right. Also the moral system. About like what you have about the discipline, which is 100% right now, and if things get tough, when you get depth charged for hours and are at something like 150 meters, the crew is gonna start to panic. And that's just great. Yeah, okay, I never did that. On the very lowest difficulty level, yep. But I could well imagine that if you go to the lowest difficulty level, I could well imagine that you could do the game in an easy way. Which is a big pro of the game. Let me check how many hours do I have in the game. I don't want to boast, but okay, it's 900 hours and that I do have in the game, yeah. Yeah, that tuberculosis stuff and incidents, yep. Okay, alright. Even more, 1200. Respect. You have to put some time into that one, yeah. Yeah, increase the convoy pack, yeah. And that's nice. I mean, that game really gives you some immersion. I really, really love it. $900, yeah, that's roughly what I have, yeah. 10,000. Hey, that's amazing. I have no any game where I do have 10,000 hours. I think in DayZ I do have something like more than 2,000 hours. But 10,000, that's quite a bit. Hey, Philocus, don't hide in the corner. Thanks for joining the chat. 200 hours is perfectly fine and maybe much more than most people have. So, nobody has to hide in the corner in this chat. The DLC, yeah. Naval Action. I have been playing Naval Action for quite a while, but I loved kind of the encounters and everything. But it never dragged me in that deeply. I don't know. Pretty much like the concept, but it's on my list. Naval Action is on my list. Where I always say, yeah, sooner or later I should spend some time to check it again. What the status is at the moment, but yeah, well, you have limited time, and so although Naval Action might be under my top 10 games, I still didn't play it for a year or something. Yeah, the encounters feel pretty good. I mean, the battles. But, well, let me do some recommendation. If you like these kind of Age of Sail stuffs, my recommendation would actually be... let me just briefly check it. What was the name of it? Here, there it is, Caribbean Legend. In terms of graphics, it's pretty basic, but it's a wonderful simulation of, yeah, swashbuckling. Caribbean Legend. If in principle you are a fan of games like Naval Action, but are kind of not 100% satisfied, do try Caribbean Legends. I think it's not that expensive. And yeah, it is. You might say it's pretty basic in terms of graphics, but in terms of like, yeah, realism and how a sailing ship would actually behave in combat, That's just fine. So, try Caribbean Legend. It's also a small studio. It's from a part of the world that I wouldn't favor it too much at the moment, but still, it's not their fault where they are located. I think they are good guys, doing a very good job developing that game. Hey, guys, I'm going up to something like 15 people watching. 15 people watching. That's quite a lot for me, being just a small streamer. So, guys, great to have you in. Welcome. Don't hesitate to participate in the chat. Or maybe if you like what you see, give me a follow. But don't feel pushed. Perfectly fine if you just watch. Hey, Super 5, don't know that one. Philiokos, thank you very much. That's so much appreciated. Thanks for the follow. And nice to have you in. Yeah, thanks. Hope you had a good week. Yeah. So, like for me, tomorrow I'm gonna have a day of home office. Friday is usually my home office day, so I'm having a lot of kind of conferences with other guys the whole morning. But I can kind of control it to start later in the morning, which means that I could well sleep until 9 o'clock tomorrow and afford this late night stream. But yeah, like, I'm always curious where you come from. At that time, I think people coming into the stream at that time are maybe not from Europe, but maybe from the US or Canada. Yeah, just guessing. Ah, hey, you are also from Norway. Nice. Pretty much love your country. I'm from Germany. I'm living in the Frankfurt area, and I actually, not this year, but last year, I've been spending my summer holidays with the family in Sweden, and just very spontaneously we visited my old schoolmate who lives in Oslo by now. So we had some few hours of drive and just went from Sweden to Oslo, and we had a wonderful time there. Beautiful city, I love it. It's many years that I had been there before, and so it was kind of a sentiment. Yeah, I had been some wonderful hiking in Norway, and we did a wonderful tour with a canoe on the, don't remember the name of that lake, close to the Swedish border. Yeah, Frankfurt is pretty nice, isn't it? I mean, like, all these large cities in Germany, they are, I mean, a lot of green and parks and everything. I've been living in Berlin, I've been living in Cologne, and I've been living in Düsseldorf, and I loved all that cities. Yes, and I have been living in Edinburgh, which I love the most, maybe. Let's do some time acceleration. Hey guys, yeah, you see, this what I do here, it's about playing the game, but it's also about chatting. So I'm so glad if you participate in the chat. Great to have you in. You see, I think it's something like more than 40 minutes we were just talking, and I wasn't heating the game, so let me focus a bit on the gameplay again. Yeah, isn't it? It's a wonderful city. I've been living there for almost a year, but it's many years ago. A lovely city.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi. Melde mich zum Dienst. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Now, we sank a lot of ships in that convoy, and I would like to get back to
Ich benötige hier etwas.
this area where hopefully the milk cow is awaiting us to resupply us in terms of diesel and in terms of food and in terms of ammo, torpedoes actually.
Navigation besetzen.
Here we are.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Jawohl, Herr Kaloi. Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Yeah, my favorites actually in terms of European capitals. It's, well, Edinburgh was wonderful, being the capital of Scotland. And Berlin. I've been living in Berlin for 5 years and I really love the city. And yeah, what else? Capital Rome. Quite some time ago that I had been there, but I love the city of Rome. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, the Steam achievements. I'm always a bit surprised about the percentage. If you reach a Steam achievement, you get that info how many people, what percentage of players actually reached it. And I'm always surprised, I mean, not just for this game, but for just any other game, how low the percentage actually is. So it seems like there's loads of people just getting the game and not giving a fuck and not playing it at all. Yeah, weight loss actually did the whole playthrough.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
I never did it, so I never got further than I am right now in the game. But weight loss, he actually did the complete playthrough till the end of the war.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloy. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Hey guys, it's so beautiful to have all of you in the stream. 14 viewers, that's great for me. I'm just a small streamer, and like if I have something like 5 or 6 people, that's fine. And now there are something like 14 or 15 people watching. That's great. Thank you very much for appreciating my stream. Welcome. And yeah, don't hesitate to put some comment into the chat or maybe give me a follow.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Hey, Beatbox. Hey, thank you very much. That's so kind of you. Yeah. Any tips for a 200 hours newbie? Yeah, that's pretty hard. I mean, I'm that deep into the game. How do you play? It pretty much depends on which difficulty level you actually do. Okay, so actually my first and foremost tip would be something like thoroughly go through the difficulty settings. I pretty much love the difficulty settings. They are pretty special, specified and detailed. So really go step by step, one by one through the difficulty level and choose them like it is to your liking. And when you have done that, you have prepared the game perfectly for you. Don't get killed if you can avoid it. Yes. I think the point actually is the difficulty level. Find the right difficulty level for you, and that is worthwhile to spend some time into understanding what the different settings actually do. And as for me, I mean, there is one difficulty level about the severity of damages when they drop depth charges on you when you're submerged. There is one difficulty level which actually controls how severe your damage is. And yeah, I'm playing not on 100% difficulty level, but on 97 or something. And the kind of three points of missing difficulty level, they are due to the fact that I chose to have some kind of transparency with the reason of the damages. So don't hesitate. And yeah, there is this setting like severity of damages and go to medium, not go to maximum. If you go to maximum, it's just too tough. So any depth charge which would be exploding in your range would just kill you, or at least give you so many leaks that you have no chance of survival. So reduce this effect. That's my recommendation. Yeah, however.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Here we are. Quite a bit of wave. Isn't that wonderful how you see the boat going through the sea? Yeah, that's right. In-game pause is not 100% pause. So time is proceeding very slowly. So bad things might happen still while you're paused. Yep. Always keep that in mind. That's completely right. Like, hey, here. Now I press pause. And if you look at it very thoroughly, you see that the submarine is slowly moving on. And yeah, from this point of view, it's hard to judge, but look at just everything and you will see that we have a very slow progress. So never rely on the stop button to stop 100%. You always have this it is very, very slow, but still you have this situation going on, moving on. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Might get some noise from that. Still, the graphics is fine. Look at the graphics. The bows cutting through the waves, throwing up the spray. That's just great. Yeah, here we are, carrying on. But we need to be reloaded. Hey Beatbox, what you mean is this first person captain's view, right? No, I never tried it, but I think that even the developers do not recommend that, because the whole kind of control system is not yet tuned towards that one. Never tried it, but yeah, it's on my list. It is on my list after having finished this one, which might still take another year. I think I would really love to try what these effects actually are. Hey, weight loss. Yep, same for me. I really love to just look at the boat, how it is cutting through the waves. So, yeah. Just for any watcher, this game is slow. So if you're in for fast action, don't watch my streams. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, there are quite some options what they could do with that mode. Yep, I agree.
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, the scenic views. Yeah, no, then we do have them. Yep. Like now, the sun has already set. You have this orange background of the horizon, and here we are, having the stout silhouette of the conning tower against the sky of the sun just having vanished. Yeah. Yeah, it's just nice. It is just nice. And then this kind of cross-section concept. Pretty much love it. Alright guys, so yeah, I am actually getting tired. It's 2:30 around here. Would be pretty curious what the time is at your place. For weight loss, of course, I know. But yeah, like I said, you don't have to tell me anything, that's perfectly fine, but I'm always curious on the background of my streamers. Alright. Yeah, 8:30 roughly. Yeah, this is always amazing. This is always amazing. So guys, I'm gonna end that stream. I really have to get to bed. I'm getting tired. Well, I can sleep a bit longer tomorrow, but still. I need, well, in real life, I would say, yeah, you usually need something like 8 hours of sleep. And to be honest, I don't get these 8 hours of sleep for months. Yeah, same for you, Aqua Icing. Have a wonderful night. Weight loss, great to have had you in. Have a good night, just as well. And Beatbox, thanks for joining. So, just a pleasure to have you in. And Philiokus, that was great to have your comments in, just as well. Super 5, thanks for joining. It was just great. So if anybody of you guys might feel the urge to give me a follow, I would much appreciate it. But yeah, if not, it's perfectly fine. Just do as you like. I am just happy having some people in the stream for the discussion, particularly when they are an ocean away. Yeah, thanks, Beatbox. Pretty much thanks for the cheers. That's so nice of you. So, guys, I have to turn in. Let's give it a save. And then I'm definitely gonna have to get to bed. See you guys. What is it? It's Friday, so we are gonna see each other tomorrow. I'm gonna do another stream tomorrow, of course. So, see you then. And good night.